Who is the ultimate beneficial owner? In a world where the flow of money is accelerating and complex, commercial interests, legal entities, and arrangements have become instrumental in boosting investments and fostering economic growth. However, the complexity of ownership structures may be exploited to conceal the ultimate beneficial owner of said structures, creating opportunities for their use in illicit activities like money laundering, corruption, and financing terrorism. And for that reason, clearly identifying the ultimate beneficial owner has become a cornerstone of protecting financial systems and strengthening international efforts to combat financial crimes. I'm your host, Noor Al-Badr, and I am pleased to welcome you to a new episode of CBK Podcast. This podcast highlights the most prominent economic and financial issues and developments, aiming to raise awareness of key economic concepts and variables that impact the lives of individuals and society. Today's episode draws on the guidance manual issued in May 2025 by the National Committee for Combating Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing in the State of Kuwait. We are delighted to welcome Nouriya Sabih from Anti-Money Laundering and Combating the Financing of Terrorism Department to provide further insights into this topic. Welcome, Nouriya.
Hello, Noor, and thank you for having me.
To begin, let us first establish a clear understanding of ultimate beneficial owner as a concept. Does the term refer to the owner, the controlling party, or the individual who actually benefits from the profits?
The ultimate beneficiary owner is the person who actually owns or exercises effective control over the company, directly or indirectly, even if their name does not formally appear in official records. It also includes the individual who benefits from the company's operation, or from decision taken in its name, or who has a final say and effective control over its affairs.
This naturally raises the following question. Is ownership alone sufficient to identify them?
The answer is no, not always. Ownership does not always identify it.
Okay, why do regulations place such a strong emphasis on the concept of ultimate beneficial owner?
Identifying ownership is important because it allows us to determine who owns, controls, or derives benefits from its funds, even when the shares or interest are registered in the name of other individuals. This helps prevent companies from being exploited to conceal funds or carry out illegal activities, while promoting transparency and strengthening confidence in financials and commercial transactions.
So this means legal structures can be used for illicit purposes.
Yes, in some cases, the ultimate beneficial owner identity is concealed through front companies, nominal contributions, partnerships, and complex structures.
Okay, would you outline the main objectives of verifying the ultimate beneficial owner?
Of course, identifying the ultimate beneficiary owner contributes to combating money laundering, terrorist financing, evasion of targeted financial sanctions, corruption, shell companies and front companies, and promoting transparency and strengthening confidence in the business environment.
This leads us to the distinction between legal ownership and ultimate beneficial owner. What's the difference between a legal owner and the ultimate beneficial owner? And who actually exercises effective control?
Legal ownership refers to the legal designation or registration in the official records of a legal entity, conferring official rights to manage the assets of the entity. The ultimate beneficial owner refers to the person or persons who are the actual owners or those who exercise effective control over the legal person. Such ownership and control can be exercised either directly or indirectly. It is important to note that identifying the ultimate beneficial owner is of greater significance than identifying the legal owner, as the ultimate beneficial owner may possess motives or influence that could pose risk to the financial system.
So, does every legal owner automatically qualify as the ultimate beneficial owner? And is it possible for an ultimate beneficial owner to be someone whose name does not appear in any official records?
Not necessarily. The legal owner is the individual whose name is officially registered in the documents and records. However, the ultimate beneficial owner is the person who actually exercises effective control over the company or derives financial benefits from it, even if their name isn't explicitly stated.
So then how do we identify the ultimate beneficial owner? What is the process?
The process of identifying it involves 3 straightforward steps. Step 1. We ask, is there a natural person who owns 25% or more of the company, directly or indirectly? If yes, this is often considered the ultimate beneficial owner because they have a significant share and clear influence. Step 2, if we don't find anyone with this ownership of 25% or more, we move on to something else. Is there someone who exercises control over the company through means other than ownership? For example, is there a person appointing management, influencing decisions, or exercising control over the company through contracts or agreements? If this exists, even if they don't own a large percentage, they are considered an ultimate beneficial owner because they are the one who is effectively in control. Step 3. If we still can't identify a person who owns 25% or more of the company, or the person controlling and making decisions for the company, we then determine who is ultimately responsible for the company's management and operations. If this still is unknown, we go back to the company's senior management, like the executives, and consider them responsible for identifying the ultimate beneficial owner.
To summarize, identifying the ultimate beneficial owner is not simply a matter of determining whose name appears in official record. What's more important is who actually exercises effective control over the company and derives benefits from it, whether openly or behind the scenes.
Yes, exactly.
So, what happens if the structures are overly complex? It raises the following questions. Can ownership be distributed across several companies? Can ownership extend across multiple jurisdictions? And how is indirect ownership dealt with?
In the case of complex ownership, the challenge of identifying the ultimate beneficial owner becomes more challenging, requiring a careful analysis of ownership chains in order to actually reach the ultimate beneficial owner. In fact, one method some people use to conceal the ultimate beneficial owner is by doing what you've just mentioned, creating complex ownership chains. In other words, rather than a company being directly and transparently owned, ownership may be layered through multiple companies, with each company owning another. As a result, there may be 3 or more layers of ownership between the client and the ultimate beneficial owner. In this case, an ultimate beneficial owner may remain concealed and removed from the company's assets, making them difficult to trace or identify. The problem is that these chains often lack sufficient transparency. Information may be incomplete or insufficiently accessible, or the ownership structure itself may include foreign companies. This presents a greater challenge for financial institutions, as they must conduct a very thorough step-by-step analysis of each layer of ownership until the ultimate beneficiary, the one who ultimately owns or derives benefits from the company, is finally identified. To illustrate this further for you and our listeners, let me give you a practical example. Company A is owned by Company B, and Company B is owned by Company C. Mr. Ahmed owns 70% of Company C. Although Mr. Ahmed's name doesn't appear in Company A's or Company B's commercial register, he is nevertheless identified as its ultimate beneficial owner, since he owns the company that owns the other companies.
Okay, since identifying the ultimate beneficial owner is sometimes complex, what role do financial institutions play in this context?
Financial institutions are required to identify an ultimate beneficial owner, the true owner, of corporate customers. There are 5 main responsibilities in this regard. Firstly, financial institutions must identify and verify the customer and the ultimate beneficial owner. Secondly, financial institutions must use customers' due diligence measures, including the completion of Know Your Customer form, to obtain a clear understanding of the nature of the business and the purpose of the transaction. Thirdly, financial institutions must use reliable documents or data or information. Fourthly, financial institutions must maintain adequate and up-to-date information on ultimate beneficial owners. Finally, financial institutions must retain all records, including documents of actual ownership, for at least 5 years after the termination of the business relationship.
Nuria, let's clarify this. Is their role solely limited to financial transactions?
No, it's not just about transfers or financial transactions. Verifying an ultimate beneficial owner occurs in several situations. Most notably, when opening a new account or establishing a business relationship with a customer, it's essential to verify the ultimate beneficial owner from the outset. Also, when providing any service or carrying out transaction, verification should be performed whenever required, taking into account the nature of the transaction. Moreover, if there is any reason to doubt the accuracy of the information or data previously obtained from the client, re-identification and re-verification on information updates must be applied. Finally, whenever there's a reasonable ground to suspect that a transaction may be linked to money laundering or terrorist financing, a more thorough and precise investigation is conducted to identify the ultimate beneficial owner behind the transactions.
Thank you, Nuria, for this valuable information that has enriched today's episode. Would you like to say a final word to our listeners?
Thank you for having me. I hope I have been able to give a full overview of the ultimate beneficial owner. I would like to conclude by emphasizing that identifying an ultimate beneficial owner is not only for compliance purposes. It also strengthens the beneficial owner transparency framework and enhance the ability of the authorities to verify how accurate the data is and to take appropriate action. Ultimately,